Wow. Now the United States has decided to pause some shipments to Israel over concerns that the weapons will be used against Palestinian civilians. Why did it take all this time when they knew from the get-go that the weapons that the United States is giving to Israel is being used to kill innocent Palestinian civilians? Though I guess they finally decided to take some kind of stand against the Israeli government, but this doesn't stop all shipments of arms to the Israeli government, just a recent shipment of bombs.
Hello, I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. Welcome to the programme. Washington says it paused a shipment of bombs to Israel last week over fears they might be used in an assault on Rafah. More than 1 million Palestinian refugees are sheltering in the city in the south of Gaza. Israel says it will deepen its attacks on Rafah until Hamas is eliminated or the first of the remaining hostages are released. The defence minister said,
So if it means killing every single Palestinian to remove Hamas, that's what the Israeli government is going to do, because that is what they basically have been doing since the beginning of October 7th.
Israel was ready to make compromises to secure their return, but insisted that Hamas only responded to force. Israel has sent a delegation to Cairo to resume negotiations, and Hamas says the talks will be the last chance.
It's funny how an oppressive government that will kill any and all Palestinians whenever and however, and the IDF goes into the West Bank and kills Palestinians and helps steal land, or in Gaza where they're killing innocent people with the use of force, claims that only Hamas responds to force. Uh, the Israeli government is an occupying force in Gaza and the West Bank. They're the ones to be using force from the get-go. That's how the Israeli government was created, by forcing people out of their off their land, by killing scores of people. So if you want to talk about force, you got to talk about the Israeli government.
For hostage release. Israeli forces went into Rafah on Monday night in defiance of international pressure, seizing the border crossing with Egypt. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has warned that a full-scale assault on Rafah would cause a humanitarian nightmare. Qatar's
The Israeli government has been wanting to seize the border between Egypt so that they can completely control everything that goes in and out of Gaza, since they control most of the borders in Gaza. So they determine what goes in and out of Gaza. So now where are people supposed to go now that the Israeli government is bombing Rafah? There's nowhere else for people to go. All other parts of Gaza has been destroyed by the Israeli government.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs has called for international intervention to prevent the city from being invaded. Live now to Jerusalem, and our correspondent Yolande Nell is there. Hi Yolande, just bring us up to date with the latest.
Well, when it comes to this US shipment that's been paused, that's really getting a lot of attention in the Israeli media this morning. This is a senior US administration official who's been speaking to journalists on condition of anonymity, really because this is such a sensitive subject. And it's understood that this shipment that was stopped last week included some of the 2,000-pound bombs, really big bombs, the US has been sending over to Israel. It's the first time.
Why does the Israeli government need 2,000-pound bombs to fight people, especially uh, people they're claiming mingles amongst the population? If they use one of those bombs to strike a densely populated area, like in Rafah, that's going to cause a lot of innocent deaths. That would definitely not look good for the Israeli government. Though, why do they want these bombs, and why is the US giving them 2,000-pound bombs?
that we've heard that a shipment has been stopped like this, certainly since the start of the war 7 months ago. The US has publicly been restating its ironclad support of Israel, but we know there have been these constant worries from the Biden administration that Israel could go for a full-scale assault of Rafah against its advice, because the US has really been pushing for much more sort of limited options to go after Hamas in Gaza's southernmost city. And the concern would have been really that the size of some of these bombs could have had a devastating effect in a place that is just so crowded with displaced people.
Yeah, you use one of those bombs and thousands of people will probably die, or at least hundreds of people will die from the explosion. Um, and you cannot justify killing hundreds of people just to take out one or two Hamas militants.
Issue of aid. What is the latest with crossings and getting in?
So we've had in the past day or so humanitarian agencies, the UN, coming out really expressing concerns about what could happen as a result of Israel's military offensive in Rafah, which it says is limited, but it has resulted in the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt being completely closed for supplies coming in there. And this after the Kerem Shalom crossing was closed on Sunday because of what Israel said was Hamas rocket fire coming from Rafah, which killed at least 4 Israeli soldiers and wounded others who were close to that crossing. And now